I have to say that every day is an interesting day for me. Um, Even an uneventful day is an interesting day because there's always something going on, something that I can do to keep myself busy or do that needs to be done. I mean, I love to read and I do a lot of writing. I actually have a couple of published stories on um, Amazon. Um, but, you know, I, and when things are uneventful, I'm grateful because usually when things are eventful, it's not usually eventful in a good way. So, um, my job, you know, I work in a retail warehouse. And I'm not a day person. I'm a night person. I'm part of the freight team. Um, Specifically, I'm an unloader. Um, I come in about 2 to 3 hours before the store closes, and I help unload the truck. And then once the truck is unloaded, the freight that has been unloaded needs to be staged on to the floor for the people who are coming in to be overnight completely. Um, and so we've got a process that we do, and every day we talk about safety and being safe. And because it's a retail warehouse, it's a warehouse that allows people to come in and shop. Warehouses have heavy, dangerous equipment going around, like forklifts. And we have a number of different types of heavy, dangerous equipment besides forklifts going around. Probably one of the safest things that we have on the floor is an electric ladder. And that's because of how slow it is. If you can't outrun that, then you're probably already dead. But even when we're doing something simple like just pulling out silver carts full of freight onto the floor, that can still be a hazard. Those carts can, some of that freight that we load those carts down with that we're bringing out are heavy. And once you get them going, they can be hard to stop. There's no brakes on them. There's just four wheels and two of them at the front, at one end spin. And like I said, once you get it going, it can be hard to stop. And that's basically what I do almost every day. Unload the truck and move the unloaded freight from receiving out onto the floor for the overnighters to work and get onto the shelves and overstock up into the base, the overhead base. And of course, if I once we're done with that, for our last few hours that we're there, we assist, of course, with that, putting away freight and putting up overstock. But today, I almost ran over a little boy with a silver cart. Luckily, the silver cart I was pulling was not very heavy. It could have been a lot heavier, and I could have, either not been able to stop it on time or injured myself stopping it so that I didn't run him over. He's the cutest little guy, not being a bad boy or anything, just being a child, running through the store. And he just happened to run right in front of me, and over to a woman who turned out to be his mother, and who was very engrossed in what she was looking at. So she didn't see what happened. She did not see that I almost ran over her child with a silver cart. I about nearly peed my pants. Besides the little that popped out of my mouth, because kid, darn near gave me a heart attack. The only other thing that I said, because we're in a hurry, we have a lot to do. and we're being timed on a lot of things. Most of the rest of the store can kind of be a little more relaxed, but for freight, we're being timed. We're being timed on how fast we get certain things done, like unloading the truck is timed, you know. But you know, and after my because you know he surprised me, I simply mentioned as I passed her, this is a very dangerous store for children to be running around in. Now, I didn't have time to stop and explain why I was saying that. I had to get this cart out to where it belonged for the person who was going to be working it overnight. And then I needed to get back and get the next one that needs to come out. You know, back and forth is basically, you know, until it's all out and staged, and then we can start working on it. And I didn't mean anything bad by it. I wasn't judging her. I simply meant to quickly convey some information that she needed, because her child was in danger and she didn't even know it. And then the next thing I know, an angry man is coming up to me and asking me my name. And it was, you know, it was a few minutes later, maybe 15, 20 minutes later. And, you know, and I had, between that time and headed back to grab the next cart, interacted with a few different customers who were stopping me for help, which happens. And you know, if I get kind of, you know, when I get back to do whatever's next, you know, if the boss is asking what took you so long, then I have to, of course, explain. A customer stopped me for help. You know, you want me not to help people, or you want me to try, you know, you can't tell me, you know, it would be rude for me to go, sorry, I can't help you. You're going to have to find somebody else. You know, I mean, because customer service is part of the job, you know. Technically for freight, it's not supposed to be part of our job, but if you're out on the floor when there's customers and they stop you for help, you do your best to help, even if you have no idea what they're talking about or what they're looking for. You know, you still try to help them figure it out, or find somebody who can help them and help them figure it out, you know, who can help them properly. So I initially, you know, did not know what this man was angry about. He just, you know, I'm making a, what do you call it? A corporate report. You insulted my wife and children. And I was just, it took me a few minutes to try and figure out what was he talking about, you know, and I even asked him, what did I do? But he just said I insulted his wife and child, you know, his wife and children. And like I said, I initially didn't have any clue what he was talking about. And it took me a few minutes to kind of retrace my steps to try and think, what could I have possibly done to offend somebody? Because I'm just doing my job, you know, bringing the freight out. People ask me for help, I help, you know. And then that was the only out of place thing I could think of. And he went to management, and I had to go to the principal's office. And get a talking to. You know, I don't know what to think about it, except for, if you want to be mad at me because I didn't want to hurt your child, and I didn't want your child to be hurt while you were shopping in our store, fine, be mad at me. You know, I'd rather have somebody be mad at me because I was protective of their child, instead of, oh my God, my child is severely injured or worse. Because we got equipment in that store that will crush a grown man. It's not a safe environment all the time, and you can only see so much all the time, you know, and you're taking your time and you're being as slow as you can, and you're trying not to use certain pieces of equipment while people are in the store shopping, but sometimes you still need to, because maybe, you know, a rack of lumber ran out, you know, and you got to get down the next stack of lumber and get it into the home for customers. You know, things like that happen, or, you know, all the time, where we have some homes that only hold, because the item is so large, one or maybe two of them. And the rest of them, if we have extra, are stored above, usually on a pallet. Well, somebody's got to get that pallet down, and you can't bring it down on a ladder. You got to bring out a piece of equipment for that. You know, so you know, I was initially very upset. I mean, upset to tears about it. And you know, and I asked my jefe, you know, how do I stop being a mom? You know, and our new manager said, you can't, you know, and he's right, you know, and Kenny was, he's also one of our ASMs, was just like, you know, try to be more careful about what pops out of your mouth, because it was not me making a judgment or anything like that. I raised two special people, and they can get away from you as children just like any other child. Charlie got lost in the grocery store, I think, a couple of times. You know, you try to talk to them, and you try to make them understand, you know, that they need to stay near you because there are dangerous people in the world. But that's really hard for them to understand. It's even harder for a special needs child to understand. Why would anybody want to hurt me? I don't hurt anybody. You know, and all you can do is protect them as best you can, and hopefully eventually they come to understand what you've been doing and why you've been doing it. You know, so you know, you want to be mad because I didn't run your little boy over and I tried to make you aware that he was in danger. Fine, be mad. Your little boy is safe, and I didn't run him over. And maybe next time you are in a store like ours, you'll be more conscious of try to be more conscious of what your children are doing. Like I said, he wasn't being bad. He was just being a little boy, being a child, you know. And they're always excited about everything that's going on in a store like that with all that stuff in it. Even though none of it's for kids, it's still kind of exciting. You want to touch everything. I want to touch everything, and and I'm an adult. So, but got my talking to. I don't know what else will happen, if I'll get a formal write-up about it or not. A co-worker of mine that sat in on the conversation with the ASM that night told me, don't worry about it. You know, the corporate will apologize to them, but safety's first. I was looking out for the child's safety, and and she said nobody's going to be mad at me for that, at least from our end of things. But that's my day. Another day in the adventures of the life of Renetta. Yay! I survived it, and so did the little boy. Cute little guy. Peace.